Welcome to another episode of Great Cigars, Great Community, or GC Squared. I'm Super Dave.
I'm Thomas.
And today we are joined by a very special guest, Mo, or formerly known, also known as Mo, but I can't pronounce your government name.
Mo is good. That's why we have it.
Mo is good. We're going with Mo. And today we are all smoking a Fuente, Arturo Fuente, Flora Finger 858. I'm smoking the Maduro, and
I'm smoking the Rosado Sungrown 858.
I'm going with the natural sun-grown.
So sit back, grab a smoke, and enjoy the video.
Mo, while we're waiting on the actual first third to finish, what are some interesting facts about the 858?
So the 858 is a really classic cigar. It's been in Fuente's catalog for a long, long time. And I first heard the story of it a few years ago. Carlito Fuente was coming through the Memphis area, and some friends of mine heard about it. And so we piled in the car here in Tupelo and just drove up on a weeknight on the chance that he might drop into Havana Mix in downtown Memphis. And sure enough, he after we'd been there a couple of hours, him and his crew kind of came in, and such friendly people, the Fuente family.
Really?
Very, very friendly. And one of the things he mentioned, or he spoke about while he was there, he went into the humidor and he pulled out the 858 and gave us the story of it. Now this has been many years, so I'm a little rusty on it. If there are some fact checkers watching this video, want to correct anything, feel free, comment, let us know we're wrong on this. But what I remember of it is, it was a cigar that was dedicated to the grandfather, Arturo Fuente, made using his blend, his favorite blend and his favorite size, by Carlito's dad, Carlos Sr. And he named it the 858 because Arturo passed away at 85, and 858 reads the same 85 forwards or backwards.
That's really interesting.
That's a really interesting family.
Oh, very interesting. They've been in the cigar industry for a very, very long time.
And the thing about one of the rumors I had heard was that when they do events, they only do events if one of the family members is going to be there. So that lets you know how personal they are when it comes to having an event and selling their product. They don't send out a rep; they send out the family to come out there to meet the people, talk to people, talk about the cigars and all that kind of stuff. So that's a cool thing, and also builds, like I always like, building a community anyway.
It builds family.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. They're a very relationship-oriented business or company, family-owned company. Like we said earlier, been around a long time, and they're some of the nicest people to meet, going to trade shows and running into them at places, seeing them at cigar shops. They're just always so friendly. Carlito, Cynthia, any of the family members that we've met, any of the people that represent the brand, some of the nicest people you'll run across in the cigar industry.
It is really amazing. So what are the differences in these cigars we have here? I have a Rosado Sungrown, which for a beginner, that's just fancy words. What's the actual difference of Rosado Sungrown than what y'all two have?
Well, that's interesting. The 858 is one of the rare cigars that comes in 5 different wrappers. Same cigar, 5 different wrapper leaves on the outside. You've got the natural, which is just the classic. Comes with an African Cameroon wrapper. You have the Maduro that uses a Connecticut broadleaf wrapper. There's a Claro, which is very unusual in today's time. It used to be the most popular wrapper leaf for cigars. It's a green leaf that is cured using, in the barns they put big propane heaters and kind of flash dry it. Rather than letting it dry over 40 days, kind of air cured, they use those heaters to flash cure it in about 48 hours.
So it keeps that color of the
Exactly, the chlorophyll doesn't brown out, it just stays green.
Wow.
Used to be by far the most popular wrapper. Now it is a very unusual wrapper to find. It's got its own little following for sure, but it's not on a lot of cigars.
Why do you think that is?
I think tastes change. We have kind of moved towards richer, sweeter flavors,
More darker,
Yeah, Claro
chocolate flavors and whatnot.
Yeah, Claro kind of comes across
Light.
light, dry, grassy.
Yeah.
and nowadays we're a little more enthusiastic about it. We want richer, stronger, bolder flavors.
Right.
Then you've got the two unusual ones in the 858 Natural Sungrown and then the Rosado Sungrown.
Which is this one.
Exactly. The Natural Sungrown, it's something that you can find from time to time in the shop. They're a little uncommon. They're part of their limited release series, but they produce them pretty regularly. The Rosado Sungrown is much less common. They did a release in 2002. They did another one in 2009, and then I think 2018 they started releasing small batches of them every year. And the Rosado part means red, so it has a redder hue. Now, the technical difference between them, I'm not sure. I'm sure they're Ecuadorian, sun-grown, and they just, one's darker and one's redder.
Right. That's very interesting facts. So how did you get into cigars?
So pretty interesting. I was playing video games with people online. This is a long time ago, when this was still a relatively new thing. And there was a guy there that had some technical issues, and I just kind of troubleshot them, got them fixed remotely. And
On a computer?
through the computer, just kind of chatting with him back and forth. Maybe we had a phone call, I don't remember. Turned out he was a cigar rep, so he sent me a little sampler of cigars to try, and me and a few friends just kind of lit them up and smoked them. We had no idea what we were doing. We just left them on my countertop in the cigar box that I came in. Didn't know to humidify them, but we loved it. We absolutely loved it. And so me and those friends kind of continued to stick with cigars over the years, and stayed close, and we'd go over to each other's house and say, hey, you should try this cigar, you should try this cigar. And we would just kind of exchange tips back and forth, and it just kind of grew from there.
Really? So, do you remember the actual first cigar?
I remember that it was a Drew State Acid. It was my first cigar. I don't remember which one. Probably a Blondie or Cuba Cuba or something like that.
And that was a popular one at the time.
At the time, those were fairly new to the market, so they were taking it by storm. That's for sure.
What about you? What was your first cigar?
I think it was a Punch.
A Punch?
Yeah.
What's that? I've never tried one of those.
It's a general brand, but Punch is a old Cuban brand, but mine was not a Cuban. But it was a Punch I picked up at one of the local stores here in town. That when I first smoked it, didn't like it, and then I found the acids because of probably online, and started smoking the Cuba Cubas. So the Cuba Cuba, I always say, was one of my first cigars I actually smoked and enjoyed. Don't smoke much of that at all now, but yeah, that's Cuba Cuba, the first one.
And it just grew from there?
Yeah. Acid is more like the gateway cigar. A lot of people start out smoking acids. A lot of cigar smokers you meet here will probably say they started with acids. Some still smoke acids.
I think I got started with like the worst one you could ever get started with. It was probably a very dark, a true dark, like what you smoke today. And I just had it because my friend smoked some, and he was like, "Here, try this." It was a horrible experience. But I tried others. I found out that there were different flavors, different likes, and got one that was coffee flavored and started there.
That's one of my pet peeves with people is start people with cigars and just put them on some of the heaviest stuff ever. One of my cousin, who is I call him a unicorn searcher now. He started out smoking cigars because I was smoking them.
Right.
And I fixed him up a little sampler pack of this stuff I thought would be a good starter, and those were the Crown Head cigars. And this is when the Haley Grange first came out, and they'd been out for a while, and then I think the J.D. Howard and all those kind of new. So I sent him like 5 cigar samples and said, hey, try these, tell me what you think. He tried them, loved them, and it kind of grew from there. So it's all about if you get around people who actually know a little bit about the cigar industry, or about the cigars anyway, and smoking.
Instead of just
giving them this is gonna rock your world. Don't do that. Just give them something that they can smoke and enjoy. Because when it comes to cigars, it's just like I call it a medium. It's just something to have to conversate with someone you normally don't conversate with. So.
Okay.
I also like to think of cigars similar to alcohol, in that it can be difficult to jump right into straight bourbon, or straight rum, or something really strong like that. So you kind of start with a mixed drink. You start by adding ice and coke to your bourbon, whatever the case may be. Makes it a lot more approachable. Makes it much easier to enjoy the coffee. And that's where a lot of those cigars people talk about, well, I'm good at acid when I first started smoking into them, but I don't smoke as much anymore.
Right.
Nowadays, it's similar to people and what they do with bourbon. They kind of, start with the mixed drinks. They may or may not go to where they're drinking straight bourbon, neat, and then go into the barrel proofs and things like that. They get deeper and deeper into it. It'd be difficult to go back to that simple, easy, smooth drink because it's not what they're used to anymore. Maybe they still get back into it from time to time, but it's no longer their standard rotation.
Gotcha.
All right, doing pretty good with the conversation. I'm actually enjoying it. But let's go into the review of the cigar. I'm into starting the second third, but at the beginning of the first third, I've given it a medium. A mild. Started out kind of mild for me. I had a lot of pepper on the back end. Definitely a little bit of the woodsy flavor profile of it, and the chocolatey espresso kind of flavors from the wrapper anyway. But definitely enjoying it. It's ramping up a little bit on the second third, beginning of the second third anyway with the pepper. So.
How was yours going, Mom?
I really enjoy this cigar. I've smoked quite a number of them, and one thing I didn't think about when I grabbed this one specifically is that this came from a box that my wife gave me in 2014, so it has a number of years on it, and because of that, the pepper notes that would usually be coming through
More from the front.
more strong,
Yeah.
is much more muted than it usually is on this cigar. It's really interesting, and I like the cigar a lot, so I tend to keep a lot of them around and smoke them at different ages. And, it is a really nice cigar. Like Super Dave said, it is not as strong as you would think a cigar that dark is. They do tend to be on the mild to medium, regardless of the wrapper that you go with. This one in particular, the earth and wood notes are more muddled than they would usually be. It's like a nice little blend rather than two distinct flavors, and the pepper is just way in the background.
Well, I'm getting something. I'm not getting pepper like y'all two are getting. I'm getting more wood flavors, and I would say a cinnamon note, but it's not actually like the caramelization you would get from leather rose, but actually just the spice. And you were talking about it's a good way to improve as a cigar smoker to look past the actual sweetness and go to what were you saying about that?
So a lot of people associate things like cinnamon with sweet cinnamon, and where the spice itself can be very different than, if you remove the sugar from the cinnamon. Cinnamon has its own distinct flavor. You find that a lot with chocolate. You hear somebody describe a cigar with cocoa notes or something like that, and when you smoke it, you don't taste milk chocolate, and that's because cocoa is distinct from milk chocolate.
Yeah.
If you've ever been a child that took a bite of the baker's chocolate bar out of your mom's kitchen, you know that there's a big difference between that and Hershey's milk chocolate.
Yeah. Don't have the sugar in it.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit more bold, and it's definitely gonna catch your attention. This ain't good. Kind of bitter a little bit.
Absolutely.
But in a cigar, you get that just subtly,
Yeah.
or even on the just retrohale, moreover.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what we always talk about with cigars is those notes behind the scenes. If you're new to cigars, it can be difficult to taste anything other than tobacco. I just taste tobacco. It all tastes the same to me. And it can take a long time to kind of develop that tasting, that ability to get those notes out the back. And retrohaling is a great way to help with that. But it's not something I would jump right into right when you start smoking cigars. really irritate your sinuses, and just try to start blowing smoke through your nose right off the bat.
So, do you think, what would you, I said a woodsy taste. So do you think that's because it was wrapped in cedar, or is that just part of the actual leaf?
It's probably a little bit of both.
Okay.
You know, one reason we use Spanish cedar, which is a type of mahogany, it's not really related to red or white cedar, like most people would assume. They like aging cigars in that cedar that Spanish cedar, because it gives it a nice characteristic note that they enjoy tasting. But the cigar also itself has the 858 in general, a lot of cedar comes through, woody cedar notes, a little bit of sweet cedar on most of the different wrappers. That's not unusual at all.
Well, I'm enjoying it as a beginner smoker.
Yeah, it's a
It's
great.
definitely what I would recommend to someone, first-time smoker.
Is the Rosado or
If I'm in the shop and the Rosado Sungrown, the Rosados are on the shelf, then yeah, I would recommend that cigar.
which they're rarely on the shelf
Yeah.
nowadays. This one I bought 4 months ago when we 2 months ago when we started the channel, and I left it in Super Dave's locker over here till this day, and I am glad I did.
Yeah, even if you can't find the Rosado though, the naturals is a classic for a reason. you
Is
know.
that the one I smoked earlier?
Yes, the naturals one you smoke earlier.
Yeah.
That was very nice, especially we had I had bourbon wings, and that was just delightful with the bourbon.
Yeah, it's got a mild little bit. It can dip into medium a little bit for some people. It's got that Cameroon wrapper that gives it a nice richness, but not over the top. A little bit of spice, a little bit of sweet, a little bit of wood. It's just a nice, easy cigar that you can kind of enjoy anytime. In a size that I really, really like. This is probably one of my favorite sizes of cigars. It's a nice balance of length and ring gauge. It makes it
Fits in your hand.
very approachable cigar.
You don't look weird smoking either.
You mean like those ceremonial cigars that are like,
Well, I mean, I look good smoking. I look like a big dude.
oh,
I don't smoke like the big 70 or the 64s or something like that, for ring gauge anyway.
well, I couldn't
Because
do that.
to me, they just look good. I mean, there are people who smoke those and
Yeah.
they enjoy them, and I'm not knocking them. It's just not for me. There was a time where I thought it was, but then I learned real quick. I don't like it.
You know, I can understand the appeal. It's not my favorite, but they are easy, effortless smokes because they have so much combustion tobacco that they just burn smooth, they burn cool, and they stay lit. You know, a lot of people that are really into cigars like the small ring gauge cigars.
Yep.
It's a little more common. You see guys that are really, really into it prefer that. It is difficult to smoke one of those small ring gauge cigars when it's raining outside, or when it's really humid down here in Mississippi, because there's not as much of that combustion tobacco. It can be difficult to keep the cigar lit.
Yeah, I have come across that a couple times.
So you're saying the larger ring gauges are for more relaxation, where you don't have to tend to it as much, and you can focus on anything else while you're doing it.
It tends to go that way. I mean, not that they don't have flavor notes like a smaller cigar, but I like to think of it similar to bourbon, whereas the bigger ring gauges are a lower proof, much more drinkable, smooth, just neat, where a barrel proof whiskey is much more difficult. The notes are sharper and it hits you a little hard, but it is not just an easy sipper. You usually have to sit there and pay attention to it.
Okay.
Same thing with a cigar. Keep it from going out. Keep puffing regularly. Don't let it get too wet. Like I said, smoke outside in the rain. Go to Lancero, it's not going to work. No.
Really? So, what are some of your favorite cigars? Would this be one of your favorites?
It's definitely one of my go-tos. Yeah, it's not just a cigar that I really enjoy, but one that I'm nostalgic about. I've smoked this at several points throughout smoking cigars over the last 15 years or so. And so it always brings me back to those previous times where I had this cigar and the friends I was with when I was smoking this cigar.
I think that's one of the main points you see a lot of older people smoking cigars is it brings them back to a time in their life where they were with their friends and family, or someone that's now living far away, and it just brings them back to that time.
Coming to the last thirds. This one is still relatively the same. Still enjoying it. Just good cigar.
Mine's actually added a little pepper into it. It's still got the cinnamon spice into it, but got added a little bit of pepper on the aftertaste. What about yours?
Yeah, I'm getting a little more of the same that I mentioned in the second third. It's the pepper, the strength is kicked up a notch. You know, it's an interesting thing. It's not unusual as the oils kind of build up at the head of the cigar for a cigar to get a little stronger as it goes, and this is definitely following that route.
Nice. Well, I bet a bunch of you are wondering why we have guests today and why Mo's here. But while I'm thinking about it, Mo, tell us, what do you do here at Spring Street?
Absolutely. So I'm the general manager here at Spring Street Cigars. We have a few locations around. We have this one here in Tupelo where these guys like to film, and we see them around a lot. And so when they asked me if I would come on board, I was happy to come and do a video with these guys. We have a few other shops at Spring Street. We have one in Oxford, Mississippi, University of Mississippi, and my alma mater, so I love that shop as well. And then we've got one in Boonville, Mississippi, about 45 minutes north of here, I would say, 45-minute drive. We're in Mississippi, so everything's measured in time and not in miles.
Not miles.
Right, so you may hear that from time to time. And then South Haven, Mississippi, which is just over the Mississippi border coming from Memphis. We have a shop that we're building there. And we're expecting that to open November-ish, 2020. We're very excited about that shop.
I'm super excited.
Yeah, it's going to be a beautiful one, another beautiful Spring Street.
How did you get started with Spring Street?
That's another interesting story. We got a bunch of them. I was into cigars, and me and my friends would sit and smoke cigars, but we didn't have a shop in this area. Going to watch a ball game indoors with a cigar was an hour drive from
Wow.
at that time.
You would think such a large city like Tupelo, there would actually be one.
You would think, and thankfully somebody came and opened one here in 2014, and I was so enthusiastic about it. I was checking in on it, and I was driving by the day before he was planning to open, and I saw the owner setting up inside, and I just kind of walked in and forced him to sell me a cigar. I was just so enthusiastic about it, and it was great timing for me. My wife and I, we just had our first child, so she wanted me to kind of get the cigars away from the house just a little bit, and I worked downtown here at the time, so it was a great way to kind of swing by here, have a quick cigar, and then head home. And so I just kind of became a regular here and slowly got roped into it a little bit by little bit.
Kind of like Super Dave's doing over here.
Absolutely.
I'm not roped in.
You are the official mascot of
I'm the mascot.
He's like the mayor here.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Well, we got a mayor. I'm a governor.
the governor.
I'm the governor of Springfield. I need to get a shirt that says, "Hello, I'm the governor."
in that slang.
Ain't that slang? I'm the governor. Okay, guys, that's another episode of Great Cigars, Great Community, or GC Squared. I'm Super Dave.
I'm Thomas.
And I'm Mo.
Thank you, guys. We're out.